Good morning. 9 o'clock, straight up. It was 8:59 when I started talking. March 21st, 2024 on a Thursday. There's an audio confirmation, unmuting desktop audio. So SpeakerBot can be heard. Then I've got some things lined up in emails to myself. And this is going to tap into the show that we did on Saturday with the radio a little bit, but not really about the radio issue. Have an email from Larry Davis. Doug, I don't think I told you in the past that I am a ham radio operator. Been doing it for years. I think he did a great job. Call Larry, I guess that maybe that's part of his YouTube name. So thank you for that, Larry. And then I captured from chat notes yesterday. There's the SpeakerBot messages coming in. Let's go stop those from repeating. And then this email from me to me. Captured from chat yesterday at the end of the show, Scopia 1000. I watch all your videos. I just thought the methodology was lacking, though you explained you had many emails with Ms. Moore. I will continue watching your videos, no hard feelings. I had thought that I recognized that name, and just so that you remember, Scopio had a comment on the video that at first glance you might think was highly critical, and I think he was just giving me some feedback. And the point here that I want to get to, though, is where he asks about the methodology. I thought, wow, I want to talk about that, because methodology is something that I have thought about from time to time in troubleshooting. What do you do first? Do you try to get all the story out of the person? Do you connect remotely first to the computer? Do you want to see it in person? When do you go to a Google search? When do you go to manufacturer documentation? When do you choose to go which direction? And I've thought about it several times. I've even tried to create checklists, and think what I've come down to. It's kind of like, for those of you who have ever gone into a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist, even a psychiatrist, or even a doctor. And typically, in my perception, what they'll start out with, what seems to be the problem? Now, that phrase has actually some stuff packed into it. What seems to be the problem? Seems. They're asking, what is your impression of what is the problem? They're not asking you, what is the problem? They're asking what seems to be the problem. And I had a great example that came up on Sunday. On Sunday, let's see, dude, I did an email to myself. That was just to remind me about the topic. On Sunday, I had a contact from Chuck. Chuck has been on the show before. Very much identifies as a normal. For those who don't know, we call people normals when they don't really identify as a technician. And he said, I got this wireless printer. They force these wireless printers on you. I got a wireless printer and I can't make it work. And I had the mistaken understanding at that point that he bought a printer that was only wireless. And as I was thinking about it afterwards, when I found out what this printer really was, I was thinking to myself, Chuck, you told me it was wireless only. No, it's not wireless only. Well, I didn't have that conversation with him, but I think it was my perception when he said, I bought this wireless printer. They force these wireless printers on you, and the name of the printer is wireless printer. And then they give a printer model. This one is an HP. So they're labeled very prominently as wireless printer, and you think that it has to be done only wireless. He says, I can't get it to work. I did not connect remotely to his computer. I had thought of doing that, and then I thought, no, I'll go see it, because I was sure it was wireless only, and it wasn't. So I went out to his house. And as we're talking and just getting reacquainted, hi, Jesse. and Carl and Dennis and Alice. As we were talking, he mentions the wires in the back. And that's when I go, are you kidding me? There's wires. So I look over the back of the printer. Sure enough, there's an Ethernet cable and a USB cable connected in the back. So now I think, okay, let's try this. So I bring up the control printers applet. He's on Windows 11. Do Windows key R for run and then type control printers and you get the old style control printers applet. And I right click on the printer and choose printer properties and then print test page, and boom, it prints. It just prints. It just works. And he says, oh, it printed. Well, print from something that I print from. So, okay, what do you want to print from, Chuck? We go to I think it was an email he took me to. That's something that he prints from time to time. So we opened up the email and I went to the, what was it, file menu or somewhere. I went out to the menu system and chose print. And I see the print dialog box and it has his old printer selected. So I click the drop down, select his new printer, and boom, it prints. So, moral of the story. Well, let me go on to another example. I have a client, a business client. They often will call, Doug, can you come out here and check on something? Is commonly the copier won't scan, or some person can't scan from the copier. So, well, let me connect remotely first. And usually I get that fixed pretty quickly, connected remotely, and it would have been a wasted trip. Now, I charge for my time on site. I don't charge for traveling time. So I'd rather do it remotely. And they often will they'll just call and ask me to come out. Well, can I try connecting remotely first and get it fixed right away? And they like that. But anyway, so what do you do? What is the methodology when somebody's presenting a problem? Well, the first thing is, I like the doctor's question. What seems to be the problem? And then from there, have a series of resources that are your go-tos. You might decide you need to go do Google search about it if you've got a specific error message. You might decide that you need to go to the manufacturer's website regarding something. You might decide that you want to connect remotely or you want to go on site. You might decide that you want to ask more questions. When did you discover this problem? When did this feature that you're trying to use last work correctly for you? Was there any changes to your computer during that period of time? So which is the right direction to go? Well, as a technician, you have to listen to the story, what seems to be the problem, and then pick from your inventory of tools and resources where to go. That's a skill that develops over time, and it's more of an art than a science. So yeah, that gets into that. I don't have other topics lined up. If we don't have other topics come up, I will delve into Alice's question in chat that she put in at the end of chat yesterday about making her computer faster for games. But I'm going to go catch up with chat because I think you guys are giving me some feedback on this subject. Let's see. Zoom it in a few notches. Tim Cruz loves this intro. It was one of the Cheers intros. I have two Cheers intros. This is the one that includes the normal bumper. Is that the right word? The normal opening that they had for the TV show. Martin Hogg, hello. Nick Boverman, hello. Jeff Ryman from Las Vegas. Mike Wojcik, Selden Ball, Ran Israel, hello to all of you. Welcome. Good to see you. Alice, hey, all. Dennis, now in my fifth crown with Sylvia. Yes, that's how she spells it. Yeah, she's, I'm forgetting where she's from. Well, she's born from. She was raised in the UK, but she has a pretty thick accent. Fun to listen to. Carl J, Jesse Pinkman, love the three Dougs in the back. Yeah, they're playing Beat Saber, that's what it's called. Oh, it's got a memory. Hi, Skipper from Zvi. Speedy. C. Lawn Dog. Oh, Doug, that's sometimes how it goes. So silly, they just get overlooked instead of just starting with the simple basics. You got that right. Bobby Warren, hello. Let me tell you about my experience for getting information. During repair, I do my best to ask a lot of questions so I can formulate the approach and the complexity. I don't always focus on a lot of questions. I want the person to not feel like they're being given the third degree, and so I'll try to be a little clever and casual with the questions, but questions are important. And choosing your question based upon the most recent answer is often the case. Formulate the approach and the complexity of the potential repair, not only so I can give a quote, but also so I may have an idea of how much time it's going to take. I never give a quote. I never estimate how long it's going to take. I don't think that it is really reasonable to expect to be able to do that. When somebody asks me for a quote, I'll tell them that I don't know how long it's going to take because I don't know what the actual cause of the problem is. I might have ideas. I might give them a low side to a high side of what I think it will take. And basically, if the way that I work is I will charge for the time that it took to solve the issue. I will do my best to solve it in the shortest amount of time. If you don't think my services are worth it, then don't use my services again. And if you choose not to pay the bill, then don't pay the bill. And I'm not going to come after you in court. I don't actually get to the point of actually saying that to anybody, but I do not give quotes. I do tell my hourly rate, which is $115 an hour. I guess what I'm trying to say is I do my best to ask a lot of questions to try to dig in the problem, but sometimes the customers are limited in their information. I will also give some helpful information. I have done this on occasion where a new potential business client wants me to come out, wants to meet me. They're accustomed to other services getting quotes. So I'll come and meet them, and as they're talking about their pain points, I'll ask them, what is your biggest pain? I will try to give them a solution right there in conversation without them having to sign on as a client. They never sign on as a client because I don't have contracts. There's no signatures involved. I do the work, I send the bill, they choose to pay it or they don't. And it's usually always they pay it. Let's see. I thought there was something more I had to say on that, but I don't remember right now, so I'll move on. Now, this is the way that I choose to work. I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm just letting you know what my methodology is and how I work. Sometimes the customers are limited in their information. That's my 2 cents. No, it's not. You're going to go on with more. Or this is the 3rd cent. Isn't that the classic question? How do I make my computer run faster for games? Or more in general, how do I speed up my computer? Oh my God, so classic.
Lithuania,
that's right. Thank you, Dennis, for Sylvia. Also, Hexona is her gamer name, her broadcast name. Sometimes as we learn it, Sometimes as we learn, it has to do with the original purchase and how much computing power in the machine from the beginning. This is talking about Alice's question. I oftentimes tell, Alice, are you in chat today? I oftentimes tell people that get a computer to get you up and running, because after you gain experience, you probably want to invest in a better computer, meaning more performance. Most people are shocked when they find out how bad I am as an electrician. Oh, that's a joke. Oh, that's Nick Poverman. I was reading this like this was another line of Lawn Dog. Thank you, Nick. Most people are shocked when they find out how bad I am as an electrician. Yes, Doug, I like your reply about how you approach asking questions. That is in the inflection in my nature when asking those kind of questions. I'm not trying to turn it into inquisition. And it takes careful approach and inflection in your voice and that kind of thing. Absolutely. And then also a sensitivity. Being able to perceive how the person is feeling. If you're on the phone with them, listening to their tone of voice, their hesitations, it gives you a clue as to where they're at. You might even need to go to the point that I can sense that you're feeling frustrated with this. You're not alone. Other people run into this. Even I come across feeling this way with some computer issues, trying to put them at ease, make them feel more comfortable. Oh, Tim likes my shirt. I think all you're seeing is this windbreaker. It's from my sailing days. My dad and I raced San Juan 21 sailboats with, down there says Fresno Yacht Club, and then the shirt underneath. Let's see, Dennis, channel members only. What's he giving us here? I'm going to guess it is members only content for Dennis's channel. That's a link that he put in. Let's go back to, which you're welcome to put in links to promote your own channels. Lithuania, agree with the diagnostics. I used to be telecom maintenance engineer, and when visiting customer would ask what the symptoms are when last okay, any storms, tradesmen, etc. to narrow down. Tradesmen, yeah. Asking, has anybody else tried to work on this problem? Have you done any major things to try to fix it, or minor things? Trying to get a little bit more of the story and understanding. Yes, Alice is here. Thank you, Alice. I'm proposing to talk about your computer a little bit. I don't know if you've made changes since the last notes that I have, so I'm planning to display the notes that I have about your computer from what we've talked about before. Is that okay with you, Alice? Tim is here. Love your shirt. So cool. Love it. Just caught up. I'll wait and get a response from Alice. No, not updated my PC. Still have the same one. So we'll go. And is it okay? She says yes. Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to give you some reminders about her computer because I have notes. These notes were first created June 7th, 2023. And August 31st.
That's why I wrote to you, hi, Skipper.
Hi, that's why you wrote to me, hi, Skipper. Oh, because of see, it took me a minute to put two and two together there. I was like, what did I say that has anything to do with Skipper? Duh, sailing. Yeah, I could see, I just talked about it and I still didn't put that together. Oh, Singapore was her vacation. I didn't think she actually lived there. So that's Singapore. She's not there now. And she uses Kaspersky. So one of the things that I am of the opinion, and I think many other people say, is uninstall Kaspersky. Uninstall it using the Windows uninstall method and go to Kaspersky site and look for a clean uninstall. She says she doesn't use Kaspersky anymore. So good, that is gone. Yeah, because third-party antivirus will always slow things down. It's an EA game, meaning Electronic Arts. I believe it was Sims 4. More sluggish over time. The game in the last few months, the PC hasn't always been sluggish. The PC hasn't felt sluggish, but the game does. It's through the EA app, which you can download from their website. It has many game packs you can buy to build the game up. I'm going to guess that's kind of like Epic Games and the other games vendors that have a whole inventory of games available. The PC has a 2 terabyte drive, 1 terabyte free. It's a hard disk drive spinning. That's one of the recommendations we made, is install a SSD drive. That's going to be the biggest gain in that computer. Now it's an all-in-one computer, so it can be a little difficult to change that out. In fact, you might, if you don't feel interested in tinkering around with that, you might look for a local shop that can upgrade you to an SSD drive and at the same time more RAM memory. Those are your biggest two right there, is an SSD drive and RAM memory, because I think we're going to get somewhere, it's got 8 gigabytes of RAM. Where is it? Down here somewhere. Yeah, down here, 8 gigabytes of RAM. So really SSD and upgrade to 16 gigabytes of RAM. But problem with that computer is it's not Windows 11 capable. I think we've found that out. It's 5 years old. It's an i5 7400T. That's close to the border. I'm not certain about that. Maybe someone will look that up. But I think we already found that that computer will not properly upgrade to Windows 11. You could force it. Not a great thing to do. But being that you're involved in this community, I would be more comfortable with forcing an upgrade to Windows 11 for you than for like any of my business office clients or private personal computer clients that have a computer in their home that are not a regular, well, any regular client. I really don't want them forcing a computer to upgrade to Windows 11. I think it might be the graphics card because the PC is now 5 years old. I'm not so convinced that the graphics card is going to be a source of your trouble because you have a spinning hard drive. That spinning hard drive is going to be the biggest bottleneck for you right now. When I load the game, when playing, it gets sluggish. Yeah, when you're playing the game, it's swapping in and out of the hard drive. From the hard drive to the swap file, that's not quite the right word, from the memory that caches the drive. That is very much involved while you're playing the game. When you're going through different scenes and such, and your characters are going through their scenes, it's constantly reading, writing from the drive. Starts out okay, gets sluggish when playing, and that makes sense because as your swap file, I'm not using the right word there. What's the right word? The part of the hard drive that is pretend memory, since you only have 8 gigabytes of memory, you have programming code that is, when it's brought into memory, it'll be stored in the
Paging file.
Paging file. Thank you, Selden. It'll be stored in this paging file until it's needed again, rather than being sent all the way back to the hard drive. So there's a lot of activity going on your spinning hard drive. That is, I think, a substantial part of the problem. If you get a 2 terabyte SSD, I think you're going to be in heaven. That doesn't answer your Windows 11 issue. Did I pronounce all those syllables? That doesn't answer your Windows 11 issue. Baseboard manufacturer Lenovo. My PC is all-in-one. All the time my PC was the best. At the time, my PC was the best on the market. The only thing I got was a Razer PC and Razer mouse for dynamic lighting effects in the game. Don't think it's this though. Maybe you mean Razer keyboard? I'm not sure what Razer PC is. Real Razer keyboard, not PC. I will send the info via email. I think I might have an MS Info 32 file from her. Got the serial number if anyone wants to do more research on that. Freezing wasn't an issue when I lowered the graphics when playing the game. Yeah, she was having freezes back then. Are you still having freezes? Took a short time when closing the game. Now, and did freezes mean the game would stick and then it would resume, or did it actually crash? The word freezing is kind of open to interpretation. And that goes back to the interview when somebody's calling with a problem with their computer. Question some of the technical terms that they might use, because they might say lockup or crash or freeze, and they might mean something totally different to you than it means to them. So ask them, what do you mean when you say freeze? And give them a multiple choice. When you say freeze, does that mean the screen kind of locks up in position, and then after a few seconds or portions of a second, it will continue and be okay? Does freezing mean the program closes? Does freezing mean that you get a blue screen error where you got white text on a blue background? So, and Alice says, yes, it would stick and then resume. That's what she means by freezing. When she lowered the graphics, that didn't happen. And that goes back to the hard drive again, because as the game is progressing, it's trying to retrieve something from the hard drive, and it might find that information first in the paging file and grab it from there. If it doesn't find it in the paging file, because the paging file is full, then it has to reach to the hard drive. So there's a time lag there when that's happening. And when you lower the graphics, the size of that content that was trying to move from the hard drive to the paging file to the memory, back to the paging file to the memory, from the hard drive to the memory, when it's trying to do all those round trips, they all involve the hard drive. And if you were to just upgrade the memory and still keep the hard drive, that would probably improve things, because now you have 16 gigabytes of memory so you can hold more content in memory before it has to go out to the paging file or back to the hard drive. But once you've got that computer open, SSDs are so inexpensive. It doesn't make any sense, especially if you're paying somebody to do that swap for you. Once they open the computer, you definitely want them to be doing the SSD upgrade and the RAM memory upgrade. That computer is going to feel like a dream machine compared to what you have now with 8 gigabytes and a spinning hard drive. And so the way you would do that is to call or do a Google search in your area. In fact, we can do it for you if you tell us where you live. We'll go ahead and do a Google search looking for computer shops in your area. If you pay somebody to come out to your home and do it, that's going to be more expensive than if you take it to a shop and let them do it. Took a short time when closing the game. Yeah, because closing the game involves that spinning hard drive. So that will be sped up with an SSD. And also turning the computer on is going to be faster with an SSD. From Wintermute, a chat message, raw number. Oh, this is when we connected remotely to a computer and we looked at Crystal Disk Info. The hard drive is actually having some problems. It's not a totally healthy hard drive. The raw number, actually 3 different numbers for the command timeout line on Crystal Disk Info. It gave us a command timeout over 5 seconds. Oh, the 3 different numbers indicate how long the command timeout would be. And that could be those freezes that you're experiencing. The number had, the hex number had 0021, 0021, 0021. So it repeated those 3 times. And I think Wintermute was interpreting that as 33 command timeouts. Let's see, hex 16, that 2 times 16 would be 32, plus 1 is 33. That's how you got the 33 timeouts. In hexadecimal, you have 16 characters in each position. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. That is 16 digits that can be in each of these columns. So if you get 2 of those, well, the singles went around twice. So that gives us 2 in this position. So that's 2 times 16, which is 32, and then add 1 in the ones position. That gives you 33 actual instances of timeouts. Now, it'd be interesting to see what that number is now. It's probably higher. It's an Intel HD Graphics 630 KB Lake GT2 Lenovo. Is their graphics card. Some of the all-in-ones have a dedicated graphics card. She said it was the best available at the time. Sometimes the name of the graphics driver or the graphics in a computer, what's integrated onto the CPU chip looks to me like a very similar name and model number, but this I think was identified as an actual dedicated graphics card. There is no number, it just says 8 gigabytes, and I'm assuming that was in regards to the RAM. I do have a redirect set up for Carrie Holzman's show. I'm going to come and check in chat to see what else you're saying about this. Let's see, over here. Here's Carrie Holzman's show at his usual start time, which is 1 p.m. for me. Live, mainstream, performance, and stable structure. Paladin W04, new release. Heat dissipation. Oh, Paladin is a mini computer. Magnetic top cover. No screws. Just pull the top cover off. Wow, how simple that is. Cool. Okay, got that. Vacation.
Doug, does Alice run the VIA Streamer desktop icon? If using Stream, may slow PC. Trying double-clicking only may speed things up.
Okay, checking that. Does Alice run via Stream or desktop icon? If using Stream may slow PC, try double-clicking only may speed things up. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Does she run via Stream? Stream Deck?
He meant Steam.
Steam. Oh, okay. He meant via Steam. I don't think that uses Steam. Isn't that a different? Is it the EA Electronic Arts? Is that within Steam, or is that a different kind of app? Yeah, Alice says not via EA app. Okay, but if she's launching the game directly as opposed through whatever engine that comes through, he's saying use
Yes,
the
affirmative.
actual game app. All right. Speedy's saying yes to something that I just said. And help EA the Sims. Yeah, here's EA.com. Sims requirements. Find out if your PC or Mac can run. And it is running it, so it already can run. I think she met the minimums in the past. 64-bit, i3-3220, she is over that. At least 4 gigabytes of RAM, she's over that. She's over 25 gigabytes of free disk space, because she said originally that she had a whole terabyte free. DVD-ROM required for installation from disk only, physical copies. Yeah, she probably wasn't using a physical copy. Yeah, all of these are covered. i5 or faster, she's got an i5. 8 gigabytes of RAM, she's got that. But this really doesn't even talk about SSD, doesn't it? Does it? Hard drive free space. Doesn't even recommend an SSD. So those specs aren't really very helpful. And Steam, also worth checking startup items. I think we already did. I think we connected remotely and did startup items already. And once you got rid of that antivirus, she's okay. Not via EA app. Yes, there is an EA app. Yeah, I'm confused. Also, if you click the icon, it'll bring up the game in one form or another versus going to the website. You can get it now on Steam. Well, install if you don't have Steam installed, I would not recommend that, because that's going to be more work that your computer's doing in the background. Because Steam probably would always be on in your taskbar down in the bottom right where I'm pointing to that I have Epic Games. So if you're able to run it without Steam, I think that's probably better. If you can load the game more directly and not have the software for the service running in the background, could free up sources of memory. Yeah, Speedy agrees with that. But I don't think that's the overall problem. We need to look into this hard drive as you suggested. Most importantly, an SSD. Games are just getting overwhelmed. We do these days. That's why hard drives have gone away. They just cannot keep up with the workload. So Alice, how do you feel about contacting the local shop about installing an SSD upgrade and a memory upgrade for you? Or are you interested in doing that work yourself with our assistance? We'd be happy to try to assist you with that. We read and write so much faster and the demand is so much more intense. That's why we're on to NVMe. Epic Games also has the game. I load the game directly. Yeah, stick with that. Don't install Epic Games or Steam. SSD 400, 500 megabits per second. Generally speaking, NVMe 3500. Yeah, I suspect she's probably below 100 megabits on her spinning drive now, since it's not working very well. Now we're going to the next revision. I will think about my options. Thank you. Okay, very good. She's going to think about that. And there we have time. The buzzer has rung. The referees on the sidelines have called the end of the game and saying, get off the field. You're welcome, Alice. Let us know what you make of it. And if you get quotes from shops, come and check those amounts with us, and we'll tell you what we think of it. All right, there's the email address. If you want to send a question by email or put a comment on any of my videos or ask a question in chat, we're here 6 days a week. And you can go to youtube.com/LWTDB, which is an acronym for Live Windows Training-DougBetts, /live to find my next scheduled show. There we go. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.